So this video is going to be a bit longer than normal, and basically I want to talk about the United States and their place in the world. Has the United States become the world's bully? I want to talk about Canada to begin. Canada historically has seen the United States as a good friend, and today, because of some of the actions of the Trump government in the United States, not actually the American people, but the government, people in Canada feel very nationalistic, and they are literally boycotting the United States. They're not buying anything from the United States, no produce from the United States. They're not visiting the United States. They are totally boycotting the United States. They're trying to find new deals in business with countries that are rivals to the United States. Now, United States, the government has become a foe of the Canadian people. So a lot of Canadians have family members in the United States. So I don't think that it's hate for actual American people, just the policies of their government. For example, the disrespect that the United States has given to Canada by calling the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, a governor. And then by saying that they want to annex Canada and call it the 51st state. They also say that they are subsidizing Canada, which they're not. Canada has a trade deficit against the United States, the United States owes Canada in trade. And then just the fact that they have the audacity to redraw the border with Canada, encompassing the Great Lakes, and saying that that is now part of the United States in this draft plan of the border that they want to change, which is ridiculous. We know that they want the resources from Canada, like water and natural resources like minerals and things like that. And just the disrespect to the people of Canada is very shocking, I think, to people. Then I want to talk about borders in North America between Canada, the United States, and Mexico. Mexico is undergoing something similar with the United States as Canada. Some people in Mexico are boycotting the United States because of the restrictions that the United States has put on them, like they have in Canada. For example, we now have to beef up our border security because the United States has said that fentanyl is coming into their country from Canada and Mexico, when we know perfectly well that more drugs and guns and things like that come from the United States into Canada, and not the other way around. Mexico has to deal with food. They have to deal with illegal immigration. They have to deal with drugs like fentanyl and the cartel. But they also have to deal with the bullying from the United States. For example, that they changed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Something that has been named the Gulf of Mexico for over 400, maybe 500 years, I'm not sure. But is part of the fabric of their country. That is part of their waterways. Anyhow, I'm not sure what's going to happen with the stock market in the United States right now, because it is in the decline. Because, like I said, lots of people aren't traveling to the United States anymore, and things are going to become more expensive for people who live in the United States. For example, groceries will become more expensive because they won't be able to source things that they would normally get from Mexico, like, for example, avocados or eggs, since there is now an egg shortage in the United States as well. So things are going to get more expensive for people in the United States as these trade feuds around the world continue. I also want to talk about Greenland. Greenland is a group of people that are protected by Denmark. It's right next to Canada, and the United States has threatened to even take Greenland by force. They've had their elections in Greenland, so it's a new government. But one thing is for sure, they do not want to become Americans. They have their own culture, their own language, their own way of life. They don't want to be Americans. And so the United States already has a military base in Greenland. And I'm not sure what's going to happen with Greenland. If they're going to be able to get backing from NATO or the European Union or somebody to protect them from the threats of an invasion from the United States. It's clear that, like Canada, the United States wants the natural resources that are found in Greenland and in the Arctic. And I think to myself, who would want to attack Greenland? Nobody. Nobody's attacking Greenland. Nobody's attacking Canada because those two countries are well liked in the world because they don't have any military feuds with other countries, really. The only one that wants to invade either Canada or Greenland is the United States. Finally, I want to talk about Panama, the Panama Canal. Donald Trump has said that he wants to take back the Panama Canal, which is kind of absurd. The Panama Canal belongs to the Panamanian people in Panama. Before the Panama Canal existed, international ships had to travel around the continent, and it took a very long time for shipping. Now the Panama Canal acts as like a bypass. One thing that the United States keeps saying is that they built the Panama Canal. And I just want to clear up that, and you can Google this if you don't believe me. Everybody who lives in the Caribbean knows that this is true. The United States didn't just build the Panama Canal. The Panama Canal was built in the 1800s by France. You can Google this. And France used people from Barbados, Jamaica, Panama, and all over the Caribbean as the workforce for the canal. They abandoned the canal after 25,000 people died. And it became like an international problem because so many people died in the building of this canal. The United States started rebuilding the canal in 1904 until it opened in 1914. And even during that time, 56,000 people from that area died. The United States engineered the canal during that time. But the majority of the workers who passed away and who worked on the Panama Canal were from Barbados, Jamaica, Panama, and other places in the Caribbean. That's who was the labor workforce who built the actual Panama Canal. And the United States controlled the Panama Canal until 1977 when they gave the canal back to Panama. And since then, from then until 2006, Panama expanded the canal. They improved the canal so that when in 1914, only 1,000 ships a year would go through the canal, today, 800,000 ships go through the Panama Canal each year. 800,000 ships. So it's kind of absurd when you hear Donald Trump saying that they want to take back the Panama Canal, when the Panama Canal that they took over, that they improved in 1914, only had the capability to allow 1,000 ships through. And it was not as technologically advanced as the Panama Canal is now. What do you think about all those subjects? Is it true? Do you think that the United States or the government in the United States currently is the world's bully? Don't forget to subscribe and follow my channel.